Hey, it's Monday, and that means we've got another FogCutter Live coming your way. I'm Mike Curtis with Traders Edge Network, here with Preston James, options trading guru. And Preston, we got a ton to talk about. Friday, there were fireworks in the markets. And then today, we're kind of bouncing right back, pretty close to recovering from all of that. But say hello. We'll dive in, get another one going here.
Another week's here. I've heard a phrase before that the days can seem like weeks, but the weeks seem like days. And every time we get together, it feels like we did it just like yesterday.
Yeah,
But a lot
absolutely.
to talk about for sure.
Tons. So just to recap a little bit, the fireworks to wrap up last week. If you were plugged in, you saw it. There's no question. If you checked your account balance, you saw it. But we had kind of some Friday just shock waves hitting with, the first Friday of every month. And we talked about this last week, to look for it, expect some volatility. Wednesday was the FOMC meeting, but then Friday were the jobs report. The first Friday of every month, they release the non-farm payrolls, the employment report or unemployment report. And the number came in a little lower than expected. But then what really kind of shocked everyone is they went back to the previous month and said, oh, we over-reported some of these. And it just, of course, unexpected negative news can send shockwaves through the market. It can cause a spook. We saw the NASDAQ down over 2%. S&P, I think, was about 1.6% down. Dow was off about 1.2. So kind of rattled the markets a little bit. And Preston, anything jump out to you on Friday watching all that unfold?
Well, it jumped out to me actually on Thursday. Not that I could have predicted Friday in any shape or form, any way, shape, or form. But at my gym session on Thursday, I have this indicator. I've termed it the AI indicator. Mike, I know you're probably like, what's he talking about now? But it's not artificial intelligence. I don't think AI can ever forecast the markets, even though they're going to try. But my AI stands for acquaintance indicator. And my gym trainer on Thursday, without being provoked from me, most of the TVs at the gym were on CNBC. It was green. And at about half the session, my trainer couldn't stop talking about, oh, look how strong stocks are. And, the 401k balance was easy on the eyes. And I thought, that's it. We're in for turbulence when it comes to that. Honestly, it's just almost never been wrong. And then we wake up on Friday to see that. I thought it's right again. It's right again. Right as everyone's talking about with the gym trainer, if the subject steers to how good the market is, we're about to take a break.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few indicators. Anytime you've seen an extended run and then a gap up, there's a morning where the futures are up, the market gaps up, and then it just kind of gives it back. It can be, some people call that a blow off top. And we saw that last week as well on, some of the bigger indices. And it just started feeling like the market was needing some balance, needing a little breather, needing some profit taking. We talked about that, I think, even last week or the week before. When the market goes in, it was last week when the market has made a really good run. Sometimes it needs a little balance. It needs to take a breather. The bulls need to feel comfortable coming back in and buying. And when you've been up a month straight, it gets pretty hard to trust buying at those levels. So you get a pullback, you get some profit taking, and now it's really healthy for a bullish market to go through periods like that.
Absolutely. And I want to just paint it also that you take a look at if you take a look at a single stock just talk about NVIDIA. NVIDIA, since those April lows, compared to today, has done a double. That means it was worth $2 trillion 3.5 months ago, and now it's worth $4 trillion. It has done a $2 trillion move in 3.5 months. So let's just be sure to keep in mind that we've had a lot of ground covered since the April lows.
Right.
And that doesn't mean we can't continue to cover ground. But Fridays maybe shot over the bow. I would not be surprised if we don't, kind of have some back and forth. I, I mean, I think we'll gain some ground, but I don't think it's going to be as
Yeah.
fancy free as before. And just also to remind people that once a year since World War II, the market averages a market correction, and that's defined as a 10% pullback from the high. That's market wide. We use S&P 500 or Nasdaq for that. So we're freshly done with the correction. So we would average one probably early next year, but that doesn't mean that we're just going to free flow like we did from April
Right.
lows. Yeah.
Yeah. Good point. Good point. Yeah. And in uh, the tailwinds have all been bullish. We've been talking about that for months, but yeah, the market can do a couple of things to regain that balance. We can see a pullback, right? We could see selling and selling. We could see the market drop 4 or 5%. Another way it can achieve balance is just consolidating for a while, right? If
Mm-hmm.
the market were to just find a range for the next month, not really go anywhere, right? That's a great indicator as well, because people aren't selling off positions. There's not some rush to dump equities, to dump their stock holdings. It's the
Mm-hmm.
market's just kind of going into a holding pattern, and maybe we need another reason for the bulls to come in and feel some energy again. And we talked about last week, August, September historically are a little bit slower
I was
months.
just going to mention that we entered a
Yeah.
slow traditional month, and
So we
how
we go
apropos on August 1st we had that hit. Anyway,
right. So, yeah, however that chart, regains some balance, the indices regain some balance. A lot of these stocks, I saw an image, it was a skier that just had gotten out over the front of his skis and was kind of flipping forward. And I thought that's pretty appropriate graphic for, the market has just maybe gotten out a little over the front of their skis here. And we're just seeing a little bit of that correction. But now today, the NASDAQ was down 2.2% or something like that on Friday. As of right now, the NASDAQ's up about 1.8. So, snapping back, recovering a lot of that. So anything else, Preston, from last week?
yeah,
Jobs report, anything you'd want to
just
mention?
that on Friday, it happened to be a Friday, and the markets had all weekend long to digest news. One of the headlines that was being toppy out there, especially in New York Times on Sunday, is that how Trump wants to fire the person that gave the bad news, and
Yeah.
what kind of precedents is this setting? I mean, there's going to be left and right voices and the truth somewhere in the middle, but I mean, the powers that be with money on the line digested what happened on Friday, and here's where they're deciding to open on Monday. And
Right.
we have some pretty compelling companies announcing earnings this week, Mike.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk some earnings. Um, so at this point, I think we're about 2/3 of the S&P 500 have reported. So these last 2.5 weeks have been pretty heavy. Lots of companies, like I said, about 2/3 of the S&P 500 have reported earnings. So we still got a third to go, but we're definitely over the halfway point. Um, and what I saw, Preston, was 82% of these companies that have already reported have beat expectations. So it's been a pretty strong earnings season so far.
Interesting. And to compare and contrast with last earnings season in April, when the whole tariff thing was happening, and a lot of companies declined to issue guidance, which is
Right.
going forward what they see, because some companies, let's say most of them, didn't know what to say. It
Hmm.
was such in flux every Tuesday and then a Thursday, and oh, this country, oh, it's this, and then it's the negotiation, right? You set it high, the other country freaks out, and you come where you make a deal,
Yep,
but they didn't really know what to say, and I get
for
it.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we're still in that earnings season. We're still in the thick of it. Make sure you know your earnings dates. I've got during these couple weeks of the year, I've got a piece of paper on my desk with all my positions, the earnings
Yeah,
dates next to it. You don't want to be caught blindsided. Yeah, Preston
yeah,
does this.
yeah.
Preston does
Blue
the
ink on
same.
white paper. That's how I roll.
So a
Yeah,
couple big ones this week. Still, right? The AI um, just chip sector today after the close. Palantir PLTR is reporting tomorrow. AMD is reporting. Preston,
big
any
names.
others? I know Uber's in there. Super Micro
Yeah.
Computer is in there. We've got a. It's still a pretty stacked week.
Oh,
But
yeah.
any that you're really watching,
Well, Amgen, I'm really interested in Amgen after the close today. In that same kind of sector, Eli Lilly comes in
right?
on Wednesday, Gilead Sciences, Moderna,
Right. I think Pfizer's
Bi-
today. Yeah.
BNT Bio and Tech on Friday. So yeah, very Exxon Mobil. I mean, let's not forget,
Oh, sure.
the old world big dog there. So, and Disney this week, really interesting names for sure. VRTX as well
Oh, right.
after the
Vertex.
close
Yeah.
today. Yeah, in that pharmaceutical space.
Yep. So lots to watch. Make sure you know those earnings dates. It can bring volatility. And if you're in if ExxonMobil's reporting earnings and you're not in ExxonMobil, but you have a position in that sector, right? And one of those big dogs is reporting earnings, it can trickle down to your position, even though you're not in that particular company that's reporting. It can still send some shockwaves through that sector, especially if it's one of the first to report earnings in that sector, right, P?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you're in a trade on Visa, you probably should know when Mastercard's earnings are.
Right.
Just to not just be aware of yours, but the top competitors around. One thing that I do like on the strategies we focus on, Mike, too, is we're dealing with these top names because the money press allows you, even with a small account, to trade a $500 stock, for example.
Hmm.
That just the fact that and it's in any industry, if you're an actor or an actress, or if you're a band or something, when you get to the top, the competition thins out real quick. I mean, there's not 25 competitors in the credit card space. I mean,
Totally.
there's a few names that kind of won, and you want to be aware of those names: American Express, Mastercard, Visa. I mean, that's pretty much the top in that particular field, and that goes the same in other fields as well. So just to be
Yeah,
aware of everything going on, but it's actually relatively few
yeah,
names.
that's great insight. And
Mhm.
P, I wanted to talk through. You made some really timely adjustments on Thursday. Again, not knowing that Friday was going to be what it was, but um, I wanted to swerve in. Maybe I could jump ahead a little bit. We had a question roll in, kind of our mailbag, um, and it was along the topic of how do I trade? Let me just read it. It says, when the volatility spikes in the market, is there a way we can take advantage of that and hedge our position? So I wanted to start with that and then kind of work backwards into some of the adjustments you made Thursday. I know you closed down a money press or two, closed out a couple positions. And I mean, looking back, you're like, wow, Preston just timed the market perfectly.
No,
um, but maybe you could speak and we could have a quick discussion on that topic of, right, some volatility hits,
yeah.
how you kind of be prepared for that and some of the thinking that went into some of those adjustments that you made that looked like they were just perfectly timed.
Well, the freshest one that I was just looking at actually was on Mongo, MDB, Mary David Boy. I know I'm not doing the right military phonetics there, but it was in the money press on this one, and we can just see how it just started covering lots of ground just recently,
Made that
and
run up.
it covers so much ground. Just kind of, and this is a money press strategy, and I'm talking about just the last. Now we're
2 weeks.
seeing, yeah, Monday. I think it's up today. MD, I can't really tell here, but I think it's up. It's up today.
Yeah, it's
But
bouncing back a little.
up $6-7. I see. I see. But this past week, I decided not to sell a weekly put, and it's
Right.
just because sometimes you're in it, the stock just kind of leaves the station Well, they normally just don't. Stocks can do whatever they want, but when they leave and just kind of leave the station, when I mean leave the station, I mean they just start going like a bottle rocket and
Mm-hmm.
leaving your little parameter of your money press. I decided not to sell, and on this one, I only sold half of the potential that I could sell. If you have a 10 contract money press and sell 5 contracts for the week, that's selling half, right?
Right.
Which means, and what happened here is the stock came back with some profit taking. And
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like I was so glad the stock dropped 17, $18 a share. If your neighbor overheard you, rooting for a stock to go down, they think you've gone, gone to the funny farm and back. But it comes back to you. And the nice thing is, um, you just in a money press, you just make more money that way. You're not chasing it.
Yeah. So if you're newer to the money press, it's a strategy where we're selling a weekly put and it's really bullish to neutral. If the stock goes sideways or up, we can make some good money. So what Preston's saying is once in a while you get a stock that just really explodes to the upside. And a lot of times when that happens, it needs a little breather. So just by not selling the weekly put, we're hanging on to the other side of the money press, which is a
Exactly.
long put. So we're flipping the trade from bullish to neutral to really more like neutral to bearish. And so you can make these really quick as individual investors, we can pivot in a click of the mouse and take a position from bullish to neutral to bearish just like that. And so Preston just having some instinct, but seeing the stock really covering some ground, he just said, hey, I'm going to wait a little bit here. And sure enough, turned out to be a really great move. And then another one, Preston, you had a money press on HIMS,
Mhm.
HIMS. And that one you decided to close down on Thursday. So maybe you could talk through just some of that thinking. And again, Friday hit and you didn't have any exposure to downside. You kind of closed that one out. And again, in both of these cases, you'd really limited that exposure to a market drop.
Yeah, like you said, it's the flexibility of something like the money press, meaning exactly what you just said. If you sell a weekly put, you are neutral. You have a neutral to bullish position. The stock hangs out sideways, you make the full amount of money. If it goes higher, you make the full amount of money. And even if it goes lower by uh, less than what the premium that you took in, I mean, think about this. You make money. There's 3 ways a stock can go: up, sideways, and down. And
Mm-hmm.
I love a situation where you can make money on two kind of plus out of those three. I mean, sign me up for that.
Right.
But there's times where, like you just said, if the stock is too bullish, we can enter a week where if you don't sell the weekly put, you're left with a bearish position. And if the stock just has profit taking and just stops being so white hot and actually sits back down, which is what stocks do a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm.
you can craft a week or two where it actually benefits you for the stock to drop. I mean, it's just hard to
Right.
explain, but the strategy can be that versatile. Um, and that just happened to work out really good last week for both of those names.
Yeah, definitely. So let me do a quick plug. If you don't know about the money press, you need to learn it. It's such a powerful strategy. You can go get a free copy of the book. Just pay a little bit for shipping. It's free moneypressbook.com. So free
Mhm.
moneypressbook.com. You can pay a little shipping and handling and get that book in your hand. You can start learning all about the money press. So, Preston, that's powerful stuff. And then again, back to that question, when the volatility spikes, and again, I think we probably don't want to get down into the weeds, but the point I wanted to make was options can give you so much flexibility. So we just
Mhm.
walked through a couple examples there, how you're able to pivot with a click of the mouse on a
Mhm.
couple of those positions, a couple of those money press positions. But then also when we get to these situations where the market's covered a lot of ground, it's really extended, it's gone up 19 out of 24 days, whatever the case may
Mhm.
be. It's getting really stretched from the moving averages.
And it's getting very ultra confident, right?
Yes, your
Yeah.
trainer's talking about it at the gym. Every TV is, showing CNBC in the gym. Um, you can swerve in, and we make a conscious decision. We say, "Hey, I'm going to build a hedge here.
Mhm.
Let me, just in case, the market's been strong. We're coming out of the correction. Everything's looking great, but maybe we've gotten a little bit out over our skis here, and we can build a hedge position to offset if there is some drop, is some pullback. In the conscious decision that we're making is, maybe we're wrong on this. Maybe the market keeps ripping higher. And if it does, we're not going to participate in as much as those profits, but that's okay. We'll
Mhm.
trade maybe that fourth week in a row of some explosive upside. We'll trade off a little bit of those gains
Mhm.
for some downside coverage, some downside protection. That's the powerful thing about being an options trader, is we can make those decisions on the fly and really cover our bases on
Mhm.
in situations like that.
Could you pray tell be talking about the shock absorber?
Yep, exactly.
Okay. And I mean it would require some teachy time. I would love to make a video available or something because I've taught it so many times,
Hmm.
but it's a very small, it's a high risk, it's a great risk reward,
Right.
meaning it's very small outlay. And I just try to think of people that buy cars, by law, you have to buy insurance on the car. I
For
mean,
sure.
um, you can think about it in that vein, like, wow, could I spend? Well, I think we're used to spending a little bit to protect things in life. You have to have homeowners insurance, you have to have business insurance, some slip and fall insurance. I
Right.
mean, all that kind of stuff. A lot of people don't think about, oh, I can insure this position I have on like Amazon, or I can insure a little bit maybe against all this confidence. Could I
Right.
put a little insurance down in case? I kind of think about, at the hospital when you're going on like this and it just does a blip and you kind of need to see the blip. That's actually a good thing, a blip. And so that's what our volatility line's been. It's been like next to nothing.
Right.
And this shock absorber trade will take advantage of that. There's probably going to be some volatility if there hasn't been for a while. And the AI indicator for me is tried and true. I actually got into a shock absorber about 5 days before my trainer was huffing and puffing and excited about the market. I'm like, the timing's great.
Yep.
But it's a
And
2 month out trade. It takes advantage of likely volatility that's coming into the market, and it
right.
like shock absorbs your whole entire portfolio.
Yep.
And there's a lot of details to it, but in essence, it's a very elegant and simple solution. But
For sure.
let's
And
make
you
it
shared
available
that all
sometime.
with your WoW insiders, those that are on our WoW Insider membership. You shared exactly when you're putting that on. You kind of share
Exactly.
your formula. So
Mhm.
again, the point we want to make is, as an option trader, you can really be savvy in preparing for any sort of situation that comes your way. So then, something like Friday hits, and yeah, it probably stings the account a little bit, but like I was talking to you, Preston, about my position on MicroStrategy, where have 100 shares on that, and it's down $30 in a day, and it's like, ow, $3 grand hit. Then you look over, and I've got put protection that's up $2 grand. I say, wow,
Right.
I can roll with that. That's no big deal. It did its job. That insurance covered me. To your point, people will go buy
Mhm.
a $40,000 car. The first thing they do is call the insurance agent. I got to get the new policy set up. They'll go buy
If they don't, you're
40,000.
breaking the law. You're breaking state law.
But they'll
Yeah,
go buy a $40,000 stock position and not even think about insuring that investment at all. So,
I know.
really good point. So, Preston, let's wrap this one up. We got a really fun story. This is from Kent, our Lake Havasu City, Arizona. He said he's been trading since 87. He said, I really never take my profits, do anything with them. I just kind of let my gains compound and let the accounts grow. But as people progress through our little milestones in our WoW Insider, we've told people, hey, sometimes it helps just to pull a little cash out, go on a trip, go have a nice
Pull it
dinner.
out.
Makes it real and tangible instead of just seeing a number change on the screen.
Mhm.
Um, so he said they went to Memphis, to Graceland, ate out a few times on Beale Street. Then they went to Nashville. He said, we really don't take vacations like that. But he said, I've improved my trading with Brandon, for all my trades, and now feel more confident of knowing what to do instead of just guessing, which is awesome to hear. He's feeling more in control, more confident. So Kent, great job. And Preston, we did something fun on Friday for the first
Job,
time. So
Kent.
maybe talking about Kent, we could also do a quick shout out. Um, our top 2 milestones right now are our 5-figure club, people that have shown at least 5 figures of gains, Money Press, other Traders Edge strategies. So maybe we could shout those out along with our 6-figure club winner
Absolutely.
as we wrap this up. Yeah, go
And
ahead.
I want to add one thing to Kent. I heard this early on from a business mentor, and he said, you want to judge your business by the money you can pull out of it
Right.
rather than the money you keep adding to it. So, hey, keep calling the uncle. Hey, can you float me again? And, hey, it's really taken off. No. There's just some setbacks, but we need more money. No. So it's kind of along this line here, Mike, like you said, just take some out, enjoy it. That's what we're doing this for. So, yeah, we want to shout out Marcus. He is like you said, Mike, these are new, these milestones that we put in. We just thought this would be really fun, but we had a
Mhm.
drawing last Friday, and Marcus was the winner
There he
of
is.
our first drawing winner of the 5-figure club. That means 5 figures in profits in the market that they have to show us. We don't just have them say, hey, I did this.
Right.
We have them verify this. And Mike, let them know what uh, Marcus wins from
Yeah.
Woodbridge,
So
Virginia.
our first ever, we're excited. So we do live events in April and October. We kind of do a spring and a fall event where we get together for 2 days. We trade together. And so Marcus gets a free complimentary ticket to our October event. We're going to be in Atlanta. It's October 16th and 17th. We kick things off the night of the 15th with a fun cocktail reception. We get to meet everyone. But October 16th and 17th in Atlanta, Marcus, we got a free ticket with your name on it. And then, so congrats,
Congrats to
Marcus.
Marcus
That's really
again.
amazing. It's
Mhm.
inspiring to others that might be just getting going and getting started. But now let's talk our 6-figure club. Now,
Mhm.
now we're getting into life-changing amounts of profits, right? 6
Mhm.
figures, that's down payments on a home. That's really changing your financial trajectory in retirement. So we did a drawing as well for our 6-figure club winner. I think we got a graphic to throw up on the screen. This
And
is
it turns black.
that's
Ricardo
right.
gets the black certificate, but he gets some more little perks as well. But
Yeah,
Ricardo from
so
Stevens Point, congratulations, sir.
really awesome, really inspiring. Great work, Ricardo. Big shout out to you. But Ricardo also is going to get a free ticket to Atlanta, to our live event there. But then on top of that, he gets to sit down with Preston and have a little VIP lunch while they're there in Atlanta. So he gets to, we get to treat Ricardo to some lunch, and he gets to sit down with Preston, have a fun conversation, talk some trading and life and everything else. So
Love it.
congrats, Ricardo. Really exciting stuff.
So killer. So killer. Love ending our fog cutter with that, man.
Yeah, fun stuff. So, P, thanks again.
Mhm.
Lots to be on the lookout for this week. Hopefully, we got you a little more locked and loaded, help you carve through some of the noise out there, see this week a little more clearly with some insights. And we're excited to kick off another week of trading. And we'll see everyone next week on another Fog Cutter Live. Anything from
Yeah,
you,
we'll
Preston, as we
we'll see
wrap
you
this one
guys
up?
soon. No, I think we covered some good ground. Thanks for everything, Mike.
You bet. Take care. Thanks, everyone.
Care, guys.